Yun, so welcome back sa ating channel, ano? Happy New Year sa ating lahat, no? Year 2022 na, panibagong taon, panibagong pagbabago, no? Panibagong buhay, no? We can start anew, no? At very excited na ako para sa ating channel, no? Kung anong magiging progreso natin ngayong taon, ano? So, yan guys, ito yung pinaka first na lecture vlog natin, no? Ngayong 2022. No? At alam ko, nagsisipagbalikan na rin ang lahat ng estudyante sa kanilang klase, no? Kasi tapos na ang bakasyon, no? At ngayon ay panibagong buwan na naman ng pagkatuto. Okay? Ayun guys, so bago ang lahat, ano, batiin muna natin lahat ng mga masugid nating taga-subaybay at lahat ng mga estudyanteng nakasuporta sa ating channel. No? Thank you very much po sa inyong pagsuporta at sana ay dumami nga tayo ngayong taong 2022. Yan, salamat sa inyong lahat guys. Okay? So, banatan na natin itong topic natin today, ano? Bali, ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon guys ay patungkol dito sa Therapeutic Community Modality, no? Doon sa different therapeutic models, no? Meron tayong mga topics dito, no? We have here the modalities, no? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have at least 5 topics. Short lang to, mabilisan lang. So we have here 5 topics: modalities in the treatment of offenders dito sa Philippine setting, no? Therapeutic Community Modality by Parole and Probation Administration. Bisitahin din natin yung therapeutic community, ano, kung ano nga ba ang itsura ng therapeutic community dito sa ating bansa, no? And then the salient for features of the therapeutic community and the vision mission of the therapeutic community. Okay? So ngayon, jump na agad tayo dito sa topic, ano, para mapabilis tayo. Yan. Modalities in the treatment of offenders, no? So, bali gaya sa ibang bansa, we had divided our correctional system into two, no? That was adopted in other countries too, no? So, ang therapeutic community are being implemented by these two correctional system that we have, no? Hindi na natin masyadong didiscusin o tatalakayin ito kasi alam ko namang natalakay na ito sa mga subjects ninyo, like for example, Correctional Institution 1 and 2, no? So meron tayong tinatawag na correctional institution divided into two, no? Meron yung institution-based correction system, no? And then yung isa naman is the community-based correction, no? So basically under the institutional-based correction, no? Dito ina-apply yung mga different rehabilitation program, therapeutic community program inside, no? Doon mismo sa loob ng penal institution. So we're talking about prisons, jails, and so on. Yan, lahat, no? Kapag ang rehabilitation program ay ini-implement sa supervision or sa loob mismo ng tinatawag nating penal institutions such as jails and prison, ang tawag natin sa system na yan is the institutional-based correction. Ibig sabihin, sa loob mismo ng institusyon na na sinusupervise, no, ginogovern ng government natin na i-implement yung mga different rehabilitation programs, no? So sa loob yan ng kulungan. Meron naman yung mga rehabilitation programs, no, or therapeutic community programs that are being implemented outside the different institutions. Sa labas ng kulungan, labas ng selda, kumbaga, no? At ang tawag natin doon ay yung mga community-based correction programs, no? So ito yung mga like for example probation, parole, no, pardon sometimes, no, amnesty and the like, no. So lahat ng mga ito ay mga programs that aim of course to rehabilitate the offender, but then the implementation of the different programs is mostly based on the community, no? Nasa labas sila, no? Hindi na natin alam ko namang alam niyo yung reasoning kung bakit meron tayong ganitong uri ng sistema, no? Bakit meron yung mga iba nagdurusa sa kulungan samantalang yung iba naman sa labas sila, sa labas kumbaga sila kahit sila ay nag-commit ng crime, no? Pero nasa labas sila at doon nila sineserve yung kanilang sentence at doon nila tinitake kumbaga yung rehabilitation program. So I assume you're already knowledgeable with regards to that. No? So, aside from the separation between these two system, no? Kasi meron tayong dalawang sistema. There is, pinipili naman, by the way guys, pinipili naman, hindi naman lahat ng there's no discrimination onto this part na kapag mayaman ka, sa labas mo isa-serve yung sentence mo or whatsoever. Hindi ganoon, no? So there are qualification being mandated by the law, no? Kung sino yung qualified to undergo community-based program, at meron din yung criteria kung sino ang mag-undergo ng institutionalized based program. Aside from that separation, no, our treatment, no, the prison treatment here in our country is also divided according to their age, no. So meron tayong separation or separate treatment system that is being applied for adult offender, no, at meron din tayong separate treatment system that is being applied to youthful offender, no, as well as may separation din dyan kasi di ba we discussed the Mandela rule, no. So we have been discussing Mandela rule. Alam natin that one of the mandates of the Mandela rule is the separation of prisoners, such as for example adult and the youths, no? Dapat separate. Women and then the men prisoners should be separated also. So parang ganun. So with that we adopted also, no? Kasi that's for the betterment of the correction program that we have. So we have separate custodial care for adult and adult offenders, no? And so on. Okay, so with regards to adult offenders naman, now when it comes to the treatment programs, no, they are being supervised by the following. So alam naman natin yan, no? BJMP, provincial jails, and the BUCOR, no, or the Bureau of Corrections. Okay. So with regards to the BJMP, BJMP short for the Bureau of Jail Management and Penologies, no? This is under the Department of Interior and Local Government, no, the DILG. Ito supervises yung mga district, city, municipal jails and detention centers, no? Ang hinahouse ng BJMP are usually, hinahouse is kumbaga ang kinukuha nila, tinatanggap nila are yung mga detainees awaiting for the judicial disposition of their case and offenders whose sentence range from 1 day to 3 years. So kapag ang sentensya mo ay nagre-range, ang penalty, ang imprisonment mo nagre-range yan ng 1 day to 3 years, ikaw ay mapupunta sa supervision or ikaw ay dadalhin sa mga jails natin, and you will be supervised by the BJMP or the Bureau of Jail Management Penology. And all the different programs, yung mga rehabilitation programs, therapeutic community modality programs will be implemented by the BJMP to you as their client. Now, pag ang minsan kasi may overlapping tayo ng provincial jails, kasi I know that in provinces, not all the time naman, but majority of the time meron tayong provincial jails, and at the same time we have the city jails or the jails, the regular jails that we have. The provincial jails are being supervised by the provincial government, Sila ang nagsusupervise naman. Sila naman ang kumukup-kup doon sa mga detainees and prisoner whose prison term range from 6 months, 1 day to 3 years. Kanina, doon sa BJMP, ang kinukuha nila dyan, yung mga may term of imprisonment of 1 day to 3 years. Sa provincial jail, 6 months, 1 day to 3 years naman ang kanilang kinukuha. So, there's some quite of overlapping here, but that really depends upon the issues on overcrowding and so on, kung kanino talaga mapupunta yung convict and so on. Kasi alam naman natin that one of the biggest problem of our country in terms of imprisonment, in terms of rehabilitation, in terms of correction, is really prison overcrowding. So there's a lot of situation wherein talagang siksikan sila doon sa loob, and sometimes that affects the achievement of the goal of the therapeutic community modality programs as well as the correction programs, rehabilitation programs of being implemented by the government, kasi nga sobrang siksikan, So, with that, no, meron tayong mga ganitong circumstances na kung saan dala-dalawa ang kulungan doon. But still, no, as far as I can observe, no, kahit na halimbawa may provincial jail and may city jail doon sa lugar na yan, sa isang province na yan, talaga minsan kulang pa rin. Ano? So talagang there should be a better way, no? And that's yun, doon na nga, no, doon na papasok yung isa sa justification kung bakit meron tayong community-based correction program, no? Kasi to relieve the overcrowding inside, yung mga kumbaga, yung mga medyo okay naman na matino-tino ng kausap, no, can continue, no, or can serve their sentence outside the in the community itself. Hindi na nila kailangan i-serve doon sa institution. So in addition to that, dapat makapagbigay pa tayo ng mas maraming remedy para masolusyonan itong prison overcrowding na to. And that's why sometimes there's really a need to put up more institution that will try to take care of these individuals, especially last 2021. No? Anyway, we will be conducting a lecture with regards to crime rate update, no, ng ating bansa in year 2020, 2021. Yeah, later on. Kasi, napansin ko lang, pahapyawan ko lang yun, that we have, no, according to the statistic, no, our country was one of the top most, no, dito sa Asia na country that has a high imprisonment rate. Ibig sabihin, in every 100,000 citizens, no, mataas ang chance na kumbaga kung isang tao na akusahan ng crime, he will likely to go to prison, no, parang ganoon. So mataas ang ating imprisonment rate. Pero ang problema diyan is our facilities could not, no, or cannot be able to take in all those individuals, no, inside the prison. So kahit mataas ang ating prison rate, lumulobo naman ang populasyon ng mga tao doon sa kulungan. So it affects the effectivity of the different programs being implemented by the correction pillar, no, and at the same time by the government. Okay? But anyway, ito yung mga nagsusupervise. We don't go beyond that. So BJMP, no, 1 day to 3 years ang kanilang kinukuha, and then yung mga hindi pa tapos yung kanilang kaso, no. Provincial government, 6 months to 3 years, no? 6 months, 1 day to 3 years din ang kanilang kinukuha. Sila ang nagsusupervise, nag-i-implement, no, ng mga different therapeutic programs para sa mga inmates or prisoners. Then lastly, we have here the Bureau of Correction, no, the BUCOR. Okay? Under the supervision naman ito ng Department of Justice, ang kinokontrol naman nila ay yung mga national penitentiary, no, yung mga penal farms. The penal farms houses yung mga offender with prison sentence ranging from 3 years and 1 day to life imprisonment, no? So under the Bureau of Correction, ang kanilang sinusupervise yung mga halimbawa Iwahig, no, Davao Penal Colony, Jubilibid Prison, yung mga yan. Those penal institution, no, yun yung kanilang sinusupervise. At etong mga prisons na to usually houses yung mga merong parusa na kung saan is pataas ng 3 years, no? 3 years pataas, no? 3 years, 1 day to life imprisonment. So kung ganun ang parusa mo, automatic that you will be forwarded to the nearest, no, penal colonies, no, in your place, and then doon mo isoserve yung sentence mo. Mas lalo dun, ano, if we're going to assess, no, how big these different penal colonies, no, and how large the population residing therein, no, ilan taong nakakulong doon, grabe, no. So there you can see really the problem on overcrowding. Kasi if we try to visit the different jails that we have in different provinces, may overcrowding na, how much more in national penitentiaries, na kung saan kumbaga lahat doon ang puntahan ng mga taong nakukulong na may parusang 3 years pataas. So there will be overcrowding, and there is really an overcrowding there, no? So sila naman yung nagsusupervise diyan, ano, nagpapatupad ng mga different programs natin, no, relative to therapeutic community. Okay? Youthful offenders in Philippines naman are being treated differently. Iba. Hindi sila pumupunta sa jails, hindi sila pumupunta sa prisons, they have been treated differently, no? A youth offender is defined this is the old definition pala na. A youth offender is defined as a child over 9 years but below 18 years. So we cannot really jail a child who is 9 years old, no? So on. That was the old law. Alam naman natin that under 9344, ang pwedeng mag-undergo or qualified for trial are those child who is on the age bracket of 15 and above but below 18 who acted with discernment. No? Sila yung mag-undergo ng trial. But even if they are 15 to 18, if they didn't acted with discernment, no, hindi pa rin sila qualified for trial. They need to undergo as prescribed by the 9344. They need to undergo diversion program, no, and so on. 15 below, wala na yan. No? Hindi mo pwedeng pakialaman yan. Hindi mo pwedeng i-subject yan to trial or to put them into prison. Just need to conduct na intervention program or diversion program. Mga ganun lang yung binibigay under 9344. So, ang pwedeng ma-qualify for trial na juvenile is yung 15 and above but below 18 who acted with discernment. No? Sila na yung mga tinatawag nating youth offender. No? So, when they will be put into trial and been found guilty, they will be put under suspended sentence. No? Madadala sila or hindi maipapatupad yung kanilang sentence until ma-reach nila yung certain age required by the law. No? However, no, they will be subjected or forwarded doon sa mga tinatawag nating youth rehabilitation centers. No? So we have different youth rehabilitation centers in our country, no, which are being supervised by the DSWD. No? So meron ding involvement dito ang DSWD as one of the additional institution that supervises or that implements yung mga different therapeutic community programs natin. No? Kasi there are those individuals talaga din na matatawag nating youth offenders, no? Yung mga youthful offenders na kailangan ding mag-undergo ng different programs. No? Yung tinatawag nating diversion or intervention program as provided under 9344. So whenever a child, no, will be put into diversion program or intervention program, the one who will directly supervise them are not coming from BJMP, Bucor, no, or provincial government, but rather they will be coming from the TSWD kasi sila yung may alam talaga sa mga basic needs, no, ng mga children na yan. Okay? So we have here, no, the next topic, which is the therapeutic community. What is therapeutic community? No? Therapeutic community refers to an environment that helps people get help while helping others. So, basically, it's a type of community wherein they will help each other. No? Kumbaga, I am a client of this therapeutic community. No? And I will receive help coming from other clients, and at the same time I will help them also. You know, parang kumbaga it's a community that you build, then everybody needs to share each other experience. Pag-uusapan nila yan, no? Then upon sharing experience, diba, you're opening up your situation. No? Halimbawa, you committed a crime, no? You were convicted of a crime, robbery, no? Then you will share, no, bakit ka nag-commit ng robbery, ano yung mga problema mo, no? So you're opening up your problems to a certain group, which is we call that the community. And these people, no, na kung saan sila may mga sarili ding problema, makikinig sa'yo, could give feedback or could learn from your experience what to do and what not to do, no? So they could give feedback also with regards to this, like for example, magbibigay sila ng advice, no? And that's a help that you are receiving from your group, from these individuals, no? Then vice versa, it will, halimbawa, tapos ka na mag-share, tapos na sila magbigay ng comment nila, feedback nila, siya naman yung magkukwento ng kanya, mag-share ng kanyang experience, and you will listen also, and you will learn from his experience of what are really the things that you need to do and what not to do, no? So the concept of building a community, no, is that they could themselves help each other, and at the same time, no, yes, they could help each other by sharing their experiences, by receiving feedback from the community, from the group, no, and by learning from the experience of others, no? So, client are actually playing a dual role here, ano? Halimbawa, you could be the client muna, then later on you will be the therapist, no? Kasi who else, no, has a better uh, uh, understanding of the situation of these individuals, yung mga nakakulong, no? Sino ba ang mas nakakaalam ng kanilang kalagayan, sitwasyon based on their experience and based on the circumstances they had in life, no? That's no other than they themselves. Sila mismo eh. No? Kasi sila, nasa parehas silang sitwasyon. Meaning, dumaan sila sa magkaparehas ng sitwasyon. So, mas nakaka-relate sila with each other if somebody would be sharing the experience, mas nakaka-relate sila sa kanilang parehas, no? Kumpara, for example, we, no, coming from the outside, we didn't experience the same experience that they had, no? Hindi naman tayo nakulong, hindi naman tayo nag-commit ng crime because of some circumstances. So we cannot really relate. We have our own perspective that is somewhat different from them. But they themselves, no, sila na mga miyembro ng community na to, nakaka-relate kumbaga sila because they had the same experience. And that alone, no, could be a good rapport, a good start in building up a community and building up this therapeutic, no, community, no? Wherein I could be the client, no? But later on I will be also the therapist, no? Ibig sabihin, minsan ganun sa buhay talaga natin, minsan tayo yung tumutulong, but not all the time talagang tayo yung tumutulong. There is a time, no, that tayo din yung nangangailangan ng tulong, at yun yung ine-emphasize ng therapeutic community, wherein not all the time you will be the client. There will be a time that you will also be the therapist, no? Kung ikaw ay may pagkakataong tumulong, may pagkakataong mag-advise, no, sa kapwa mo bilanggo, then pwede mong gawin yun. Pwede mong gamitin yung mga experiences mo, pwede mong gamitin yung mga natutunan mo sa community, no, para tumulong sa iba. And at the same time, you are helping yourself also by doing that. Okay? So that's how the therapeutic community look like in our country, no? So there is a dual role. Meron tayong dalawang role doon sa community na yan. First is the client, no? Sila yung mga kailangan ng tulong. And then the therapist, sila yung nagbibigay, nagpapayo, no? But not all the time the therapist will be the therapist. He can be also the client, no? Minsan, no, kailangan nating mag-shift ng role para nang sa ganun ay makapag-adapt tayo to cope up with the problems that we have. Hindi all the time that you will be the one who will be giving advice, no? Believe in time that it will come, no, that you will need also some advice coming from others. So be open with regards to this dual role or shifting of roles and so on, no? Then next is how does the therapeutic community look like, no? So we have basically the operation of the community itself, no, is the task of the resident, no? So it's a community that we are building here, no? And when we talk about community, we're not just talking about take, no? Hindi puro receive. In order for the community, lahat naman ng community, by the way, ganun. In order for the community to keep on functioning, dapat meron tayong mga roles, no, assigned to each and every member. So nagkakaroon tayo dyan ng tinatawag nating job functions, no? Job functions refers to the different responsibilities that being assigned to each member, no? I think it's job functions is really somewhat a privilege, no, doon sa loob. Kasi imagine, it's a big privilege, no. In the different prison system that we observed, no, talagang ang pagkakaroon ng job, pagkakaroon ng trabaho sa loob, it's a privilege, no. Napakahalaga niyan. Kasi number one, you can earn money, no. Pwede kang kumita ng pera. And money is very important doon sa loob, no. Because not all the needs, necessities, no, are being provided by the family and the government. There are times talaga na kailangan mong bumili, no, ng mga sarili mong pangangailangan. And yes, pwede kang bumili sa loob. But then, how could you do that if you don't have money? And how could you have money if you don't have jobs? So it's really important. And as far as we notice, no, those who have money inside really are being treated well by their co-inmates, no. So to have a job inside the prisons, it's not a burden, no. Unlike here, na kung may trabaho ka, parang nakakatamad. doon sa loob, since wala naman silang magagawa, wala naman silang ginagawa, they have a lot of time, no, at their hands. No? So, to have a job is really a privilege. No? So that's why we expect that under the community, they're really working hard in order to be qualified to have a job. No? But then with regards to the job, ang pagbibigay niyan is nas hierarchical din yan eh. No, hindi basta-basta okay, you will be assigned to this. No, it's not like you apply and then you will receive a job. No, but they're looking at seniority, no, they're looking at the individual progress with regards to the different therapeutic programs being implemented. How are you reacting, no? Kumbaga, kung yung mga sa pagpili ng bibigyan ng trabaho doon sa loob, yung binibigyan doon yung mga talagang mapagkakatiwalaan, mabait, no, and many more, no. So they have the quality, no? I mean they have the certain quality that they're looking for, no? So yan, seniority, no, progress and productivity, no, and many others, no. Ito yung mga kanilang basis kumbaga sa pagbibigay ng trabaho. As I stated, no, ang trabaho sa loob is really an important it's a privilege, na napakalaking karangalan, no? Syempre, you are gaining money, no? Second, I mean, you are reducing your boredom. I mean, literally, no? Kung ikaw ay nakakulong tas wala kang ginagawa, talagang mabagal ang takbo ng araw, ano? Pag nakaupo ka lang, nakahiga ka lang sa selda mo and wala kang ginagawa, talagang mas lalo kang maboboard, no? Parang ang tagal-tagal matapos ng sentensya mo. Compared, kung meron kang trabaho, meron kang pinagkakaabalahan araw-araw, so hindi mo mararamdaman, lumilipas na pala. So, yun yung isa. Then, if you're working, if you have a job inside, nababawasan din yung sentensya mo, ano? Good behavior, GTCA, mga ganun ba? So, there's a benefit. There's a lot of benefits of having a job. No? And those job, no? Yung mga job na pinag-uusapan natin, really, there's something like, halimbawa, house services, tagalinis, cooking, yung mga nagluluto ng pagkain, cleaning, kitchen service, minor repair, no? Serving as apprentice, running all the department, conducting meeting and peer encounter groups. So we're talking about menial services, mostly on services, serving others. Yun yung kanilang ginagawa. Sometimes they're being hired also to do construction work, no? Cleaning work and so on. Yun yung mga gardening and so on. So yun yung mga different job functions na ini-implement nila. And this is not just for the sake of for them to have money. This is also one of the programs na ini-implement ng Therapeutic Community para nang sa ganun ay ma-rehabilitate yung mga offender. Okay? Okay, so that's it with regards to that. Let's jump into the salient features of the Therapeutic Community. And basically, we have very, very short discussion naman with regards to this, no? The primary therapist and teacher, sabi dito, is the community. I think that alone, no, is discusses everything about this, no? So they believe that Therapeutic Community, no, ang pinaka-importante, no, ang prime mover of the Therapeutic Community is the community itself, no? The one who helps the clients, the members of a certain therapeutic community, no? Ang nagte-therapist sa kanila, ang nagtuturo sa kanila to have a good behavior is the community itself. So there's a necessity to introduce yung mga tinatawag nating role models, no? Individuals who have been successful in the different programs na i-implement, no? Because they will serve as a guide for each member na panunularan nila. Okay, let's say for example, ayan, Mr. Pedro has a job already na maganda na yung kanyang kalagayan, binigyan siya ng job function, nagtatrabaho siya, kumikita siya ng pera, he is being treated well by other inmates and so on. Everybody wants to become Mr. Pedro, no? Everybody wants to become Mr. Pedro. So how would they do it? Mr. Pedro will then help them. Okay, so this is how you do it. Magpakabait ka, no? You participate in different programs, no? You participate in these types of learning, no? So he will be guiding the other members, no, to become like him, to receive the same privilege as he is receiving. So that's the best way to teach, no, itong mga ito to develop, no, the good behavior that is expected that they will develop under the Therapeutic Community program, no? So they themselves is a teacher. Also, the therapeutic community adheres to the precept of right living, so they still have the moral, no? Actually, mas strict na siguro ang moral nila doon sa loob. Like, for example, truth and honesty, because they're being governed by different rules, no? May sarili silang rules doon. Rules ng, halimbawa, family. I mean, the family that they belong, like, for example, the gang, no? The fraternity that they have inside, no? So they have moral codes that they're following. And those things adhere still with regards to the yung mga right living, no, the principles or the moral codes of right living, like for example becoming truthful or honest, no, becoming to have a social responsibility or personal responsibility, to become a responsible individual, and so on, and many other more, no? So they adhere to those morals, no, like we do. It is believed that this is a place where one can change, unfold, the group can foster change, individuals must take responsibility, but also the structure must accommodate this. No? So under the TC, no, yung therapeutic community na yan is a program that really has a lot of potential. But the problem is, if it does not receive support from the government, no, in terms of facility, like for example, di ba, gusto natin na merong mga libangan yung mga preso doon sa loob, no? Gusto natin meron silang mapaglibangan kasi isa sa program under therapeutic communities, like for example sports and entertainment, basketball, volleyball, badminton, those things, no? How could you able to implement that if wala naman tayong gagamitin, like we don't have court, we don't have balls, we don't have equipment, sport equipments? How could we implement that? So even if the program is really good, if it does not receive fundings from the government, wala pa rin. So, they must go together. A good program with a good funding. Okay? Now, with regards to this, there are 5 distinct categories of the activity that help promote the change under therapeutic community that's usually focused on relational, behavioral management. So most likely they could be achieved through seminars and training, no, anger management issues seminars and so on. Yan, focus on that. Meron din yung mga programs that are focused on effective emotional, psychological yan, counseling, no, yung mga ganung program under behavioral, I mean under emotional and psychological yun, no, na ini-implement ng therapeutic community. Cognitive and intellectual, na with regards to mga balik-aral or training, no, education. So they could implement that, which has also the aim of building, no, rehabilitating the clients, no, yung mga ALS, no, mga ganun. So they have been implementing. I know kasi we had a chance to observe these programs being implemented in some jails na, no? Spiritual, na yung mga, halimbawa, binaya nila pumasok din yung mga spiritual groups, no, to conduct preaching and so on. They're allowing them to join these different preaching activities, no, that could help them also to develop, no, to rehabilitate themselves, no, as an individual, to change their ways and become a good citizen, no, which is the aim of every correctional institution. We have also psychomotor, vocational, and survival skills. Okay? So psychomotor, vocational, survival skill, ito na ba yung mga vocational, like for example, livelihood training, no, which they can use, no, inside, ano mo, paggawa-gawa ng mga keychain, no, printing of shirt, products, display, mga ganon. So, yan yung mga ginagawa nila dito, no? Nabibigyan mo na sila ng trabaho, natuturuan mo na sila ng skills, and at the same time, kumikita pa sila. So, it's a win-win situation for them. No? So, everyone wants to join these things. No? I don't see any reason that they would choose to stay inside the jail, inside their inside their cell, no? Rather than do these things. No? Halimbawa, ikaw prisoner, anong gusto mo? Makulong ka lang sa loob ng selda mo, mahiga ka lang sa loob ng selda mo, or mag-participate ka sa mga ganito outside your selda. No? So I think this is more preferable. And with that, though, you're giving them chance to build themselves again, no? To re-evaluate themselves, to put a purpose on their life, no? Which of course, uplift their well-being, their moral, at maging hindi na down kumbagang tingin nila sa sarili nila. Kasi talaga pag tinignan mo yung mga nasa loob, they are thinking of themselves as a lesser individual. Kumbaga nawawalan na sila ng lakas ng loob na magpatuloy kasi nga they feel that they are outcasted and so on. But if you put these different programs, you are putting meaning again to their life, which is good. Okay. Lastly, let's look into the mission of the therapeutic community, to promote human and social transformation among our clients and among ourselves. Okay, so that's basically the mission of the therapeutic community, to promote human and social transformation. Okay? Kasi they believe na kapag yung isang tao napasok sa kulungan, there is some problem. And there's a need to correct or transform this individual before he can be ready again to face the community, the society, for him to be reintegrated again to the society. So that's what their purpose or their mission was. Vision, by the end of this decade, I don't know when was this implemented. By the end of this decade, therapeutic community shall have become the corporate culture of parole and probation administration, permitting its plans, programs, and practices, and confirming its status as a model component of the Philippine correctional system. Okay, so as of now, the therapeutic community is really attached on the PPA, or the parole and probation administration. But later on, they are aiming actually that they will become a necessary component of the Philippine correctional system. So when we talk about the correctional system, so we have only one, which is one of the components of the Philippine criminal justice. But again, sabi nga natin, malawak din ang correctional system natin. We have the institutional, non-institutional, and so on. But they wanted to become a part of this necessary, significant part of this correctional system that we have, which I think, yes, it can be achievable because the main goal of the therapeutic community is really important. I think it is plausible, napakaganda ng therapeutic community. And if we could only enhance further the concept of therapeutic community, I think it could help in preventing recidivism, reducing the cases of recidivism, and it could further enhance the rehabilitative function of the correctional institution. Okay, so yun guys, I think that's the end of our short lecture with regards to the topic therapeutic community. I've been lecturing a lot of this in the previous videos that we have, so you can just visit them. Meron tayo dyan. If you have questions with regards to the things or topics that we have been discussing, kindly comment those down in the comment section. And that's it guys for today. See you guys on the next lecture. Bye bye.